Let's get into our next discussion now. Elections are a critical pillar of democracy and good governance the world over. When free, fair and credible, they confer legitimacy and acceptance. This has, however, been a sore point of Nigeria's democracy over the years. Although the 2015 and 2011 and 2015 elections showed strong improvements over 2007, most off-cycle elections held since 2015 featured reports of irregularities that undermined INEC's credibility on one hand, according to perception. But the recent attempts to reform the process by the 9th Assembly through the Electoral Amendment Bill has been met with criticism, as many Nigerians accuse them of betraying their trust. Nigerians are canvassing for credible, free and transparent elections. They are also agitating for electronic voting and electronic transmission of results. Others want diaspora voting included in the Electoral Act. But how critical are these demands for achieving credible elections in Nigeria? That is the big question we'll try to find answers to in the next couple of minutes. So joining me to discuss this is a political marketing consultant and lecturer, Lanre Akinola. It's nice to have you join me, Lanre. Good morning.
Thank you.
Great.
Good morning. Great work here.
Now, you have done great research trying to make comparison and the trends of people's participation, Nigerians participating in the election process in the last elections, 2015, 2019, even the ones before then, also trying to make comparison between what Nigeria is doing, how they're doing it, and how countries in the West African region and even Africa as a whole are doing it. Beautiful work that you're doing. However, but talk to us basically. For instance, if you notice that the number of registered voters in 2019 election increased against the one for 2015, but the voter turnout dropped in 2019 instead, what could be responsible for a thing like that?
Well, my greatest concern, which I've expressed loudly and still look for people to see it as very, very important, is that there appear to be a gradual fall in voters' turnout in Nigeria, and it looks to me as a free fall. In 1999, we had 52% voters' turnout. 2003, it went to 69%. 2007, it came to 57%. By 2011, it came to 54%. And 2015, it dropped again to 43.6%. Unfortunately, in 2019, despite the fact that we had almost 16 million registered voters more than in 2015, the thing crashed to 35.6%. And if you study trends, the fear now is, will this repeat itself?
In 2023?
So, yeah, in 2023, what should we be expecting? And if you are going to rate a democracy, these are some of the indices that you want to use to rate that democracy. In a population of 211 million, by worldometers as at this week, 36% or 33%, 35% of 85 million we're talking about. And if you look at 25 million voters, total vote in 2019, out of 211, that's alarming. So there's something fundamentally wrong. And again, I tell people, when you look at some of the crises that we have, it boils down to distrust in the leadership. Okay. And that can be understood. This current government at the federal level got only 15 million votes. So what we're saying in a nutshell is that out of 211 million Nigerians, only 15 million voted for Mr. President.
But we also have to take cognizance of the fact that there are some people in that 211 that are not eligible to vote.
Agree. I mean,
those who are below 18.
Yes, but you know, we let's just put an average. I didn't take my time to look at that. But in Nigeria, to vote, you must be above 18. Let's say from those who are 18 above, we can have less than at least 160, 170 million. We can have less. If you even look at internet penetration in Nigeria, is in excess of 100 million people who access the internet. And to to access internet, you must have some level of education and some level of age. So if we plot that, we are still far, far, far below. 85 million people registered, and at the end of the day, 25 million people voted. Where are the remaining 40-something million?
Well, from your research, what do you think was responsible for that gap there, that vacuum? We have a high number of people who got registered or who got the PVCs, yet we had a drop in the number of people who turned out. What was responsible for that difference?
I can tell you based on assumption and previous study. I'm trying to do a study now where I actually want to find out what is responsible for this falling voters. But on a quick note, let's look at trust. There is trust deficit in our system today. Most of the Nigerian masses do not believe in the electoral process. No matter what you tell them, they have this preconceived notion that, forget, they know who is going to power. It's just as if they just write something. So we need to work on that. There's that trust deficit. Secondly, I also think we should also be looking at the electoral process. The electoral process is a little bit cumbersome, even at the point of registration. I'm happy that INEC is now working towards electronic registration, which they've started. Okay. When you get to the polling booth, you have to sit down. You do first the verification, then you have to sit down to vote. And people in this part of the world, you know that naturally we're in a hurry. And so that seemed not to agree with us. Another thing I also discovered, I'm not sure you have voted between 2015 and 2019.
I have not voted for quite a while.
Because you will be on duty.
On duty on the day of election.
On the day of the election. Look at the total number of Nigerian police officers, civil defense corps, all the paramilitary agencies. They are on duty on that day.
Medical doctors,
all my
journalists,
colleagues and friends in the media, they are on the field. So when you collate all these numbers, we're talking about several millions also. So these ones are also de-enfranchised. And so we need to start looking at early voting. All those who are going to be involved on the election day, even look at the statutory INEC workers and those ad hoc that are going to have. They run into millions. Okay? So these people should be given opportunity to vote. Because when you look at it, some of these ones will be part and parcel of those who registered. But because of...
But there's an argument regarding whether umpires, those who are supposed to be umpires, should cast their votes in the ballots that they have an interest for one candidate against another.
Well, we have to also define who are these umpires. If you are a full-time INEC staff, okay, maybe if you say they won't vote, but again, as far as I'm concerned, provided they have only one vote. You understand? But again, it can be used against them.
Exactly.
So it's better they don't vote.
Exactly, because that's the argument.
But
even those who
how,
are working as ad hoc staff, because ad hoc staff or INEC staff is just a nomenclature of administrative. The issue there is all of you are working to ensure that you deliver a free, fair, and credible election. So if an ad hoc staff, for instance, maybe a member of youth corps, for instance, who is in a village somewhere, went with other colleagues, and then of course he has a supervisor, but he is allowed to vote and voted for party A or candidate A, for instance, and then sees that, okay, the votes, I have something to do here to ensure that the person I have interest for should win where I am. So those kind of things can play with the minds of people.
That's the essence of what I'm saying. There is this trust deficit.
Okay.
All right. In any election, right? People will assume, oh, this party is favored in this area. But I look at what they do in the US. This mail-in vote. They come in, but you don't open it. You understand? If we know that we are going to have election on Saturday and we have opportunities to vote, we will cast our vote, seal it in the envelope, they'll box it somewhere. So nobody knows who I voted for. You understand? What I'm saying is that large chunk of Nigerian electorate is one way or the other, they're enfranchised because you won't have opportunity to vote. But that's also one way of it. Another problem is we have this elitist problem. I worked with a governorship candidate, and he expressed his bitterness in an open meeting that I prefer to work with Okada riders, market women, all these people, because for me, for my political ambition, they are more reliable than working with teachers, the elites. If you look at INEC picture of registered voters for 2019, you will be shocked that the percentage of public and civil servants is very, very marginal.
Very, very low.
And you look at the market women, the artisan, the housewives, those form the
largest percentage of people
of it. So the question is, what happens to the elites? The elites don't vote. In fact, if they do anything at all, is to argue, pontificate, find fault, criticize on social media. Unfortunately, INEC has not been mandated to count social media votes.
Okay, one other area that in the research that I'd like to bring out, which is also of concern, is a comparative figure between Nigeria and other West African countries. From the findings here, Nigeria is the lowest amongst all West African countries when it comes to voter turnout and voter participation. Now, Nigeria has 34.8% in 2019. A country like Chad, for instance, had 66% in their 2016 election. Niger Republic had about 59.8%. Mali 47%, Burkina Faso 60%, Ghana 68%, Togo 60%, Benin Republic 66%, Cote d'Ivoire 52%, Liberia 75%, Sierra Leone 84%, Guinea 69%, you know, and then we have Guinea-Bissau 89%, Senegal 66%. You know, the numbers go like that. Gambia 59%, Mauritania 56%, and Nigeria is the lowest of all. What are these countries doing that is different when it comes to their political culture that is different from ours, especially when we say that we are the giant of Africa, we are better in this, we are better in that, as the case may be?
Well, for now, I cannot actually point what they're doing. But again, you know, we said something. When we look at Nigerians by nature, we're in a hurry. I've been to Republic of Benin a few times. They are never in a hurry. As a matter of fact, they have this saying, "Oh, Nigeria, Gessi, Girigiripo." You know, that
what does that mean?
Yeah, we're always in a hurry.
Okay.
They take things cool. The Nigerian elite will not phantom himself going to sit and wait at the polling booth. You know, we also class ourselves. We see people, oh, you want me to go and sit with those common people? You understand that kind of situation? And so we decide to stay at home. Again, I also feel, and I want to say this with sense of, even the narratives from political candidates and men and people, their staff, political parties, is also wrong. We've had in the past when people assume that, no, this election is going to be a do or die affair. You understand? And when you have that kind of narrative, someone says, no, in this place, we have to win. Oh, you guys know what we have to do. We have to win. Whatever it takes, we have to win. And so, you know, you don't want to see a running train and then run into it. Again, when you look at some of those statistics I gave, electoral violence is also on the rise. In 2019, it was over 600 and something electoral related crimes and killings that were recorded. Parents will not allow their children to go and vote. And so it's a concern. I mean, just bringing this to the front to let us see. The media also need to de-emphasize the negatives. Even those of us who call ourselves analysts, whatever, we also need to encourage and not discourage. People come on, oh, don't worry, even before you vote, they know. I can tell you that some politicians use this actually to their favor.
How is that?
Okay, I'll tell you. Most politicians know that the elites cannot be bought easily. You can't buy them with 1,000, a pinch of rice, whatever. They have their independent minds. And they know that naturally you don't vote. Okay? They know you are a fine boy. You cannot go and be struggling with them. So you're not their target. Okay? But if we can put ourselves together and see ourselves as major stakeholders, I had the chance opportunity to interview an elder statesman, 1992. He was contesting under this two-party system of Babangida.
The NRC and the SDP, okay.
And when I looked at the CV, I was marveled. And I said, sir, is this what you are going to stake on the altar slab? They're going to mess you up. And he said, if good people fail to participate in politics, that will be ruled by fools and charlatans. And so until you can complain for whatever you want, this current government was elected, whether by 15 million people, it doesn't matter. I had the opportunity to go and vote. I did. Did you exercise yours? And I keep telling people there are two ways to vote. Two critical ways to vote. You either go and vote for the candidate of your choice that you like, or you go and vote against that candidate you don't like.
You don't like, exactly.
Let me give you an example the way it works. There is a candidate A. You love the candidate A. You want him to win. On the election day, turn out and go and vote for candidate A. But you don't have any choice among the two of them. But you know that candidate B, is a bad one. You don't like candidate A. So you must go and vote for candidate A so that candidate B will not
lose.
Yeah. So that's the way to vote. So someone cannot say, okay, I don't have a candidate, so I'll sit at home.
Exactly. All right, now we are running against time, but what are your projections, just in 1 minute, what are your projections for 2023 when it comes to apathy or participation or the turnout and the perception towards it?
You know, seriously, I hope I'm speaking to Nigerian youth. I hope I'm speaking to my students and my colleagues, those who are old enough to vote. Let us bring that energy of NSAS. Let us bring that energy and that slogan, Sorosoke. And let us change that narrative, Sorosoke, and apply it to election. Let us actually speak out and speak loudly using our card and our votes. Let us look for credible people.
All right.
And let us turn out and vote for them.
All right. Thank you so much, Lanre Akinola, for your time on the program. Thanks for the insight, and thanks for the great job of research, bringing out all of these comparative figures in here. We thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.